welcome to this week's episode of Food from Fiction. It's a two-parter, so I'm going to do part one this evening and then show you the final result in the morning. We're going to be tackling a book called Recipes for Love and Murder. It's a murder mystery set in South Africa. I absolutely adore it so much that I've never even been brave enough to read the second one in the series in case it's not quite good enough. We're going to make a South African cookie called a rusk. If you don't know what that is, that's okay because neither do I. So who knows if we get it right or not. But it appears to be a fruit and nut kind of like biscotti, a twice baked cookie. So here goes nothing. I also don't know if this recipe is even going to fit in this bowl, so this might be another epic fail video. Right, I have a bunch of flour in a bowl, and I'm going to put baking powder and some salt in here also. And then we'll just mix up our dry ingredients. All right. I didn't quite have enough baking powder, so because I've never seen a recipe that uses so much, so that will make this an even more entertaining adventure. All right. Next, we're going to put in some sugar. We're going to use brown sugar. And that's another thing we're gonna have to put on the grocery list after this bake. All right. Now I'm going to add all of my various different liquids. I have a huge container of melted butter, so we'll pour that in. Give it a bit of a mix. This is a recipe that also uses buttermilk. Most people know buttermilk as being something that you buy in the store kind of near cream. I, however, have been fermenting and curing, not actually sure what the proper word is for buttermilk, but my own batch of buttermilk for a while. So that's what this bottle is. All right, in it goes. This bowl is already really full. So Recipes for Love and Murder is one of those books that has recipes at the end of it. The recipes that, you know, the characters make or are mentioned throughout the book. And I realized we hadn't talked about books or even tackled a book that is like that so far on this program, and this seemed like the opportune moment to do so. So there are a lot of, I don't know if it's even a subgenre of books that that realizes how important food is to people, and so they include the characters' recipes or the author's recipes for the foods that are mentioned. This is one such book, and the back is just full of South African recipes. So that is what's going on here. All right. Next, I'm going to put in our eggs. I'm making a huge mess here, like always. A couple years ago, I found myself reading pretty much nothing but murder mysteries set in Africa. Don't really know why. That was just the books that I was reading at that point. And I stumbled across recipes for love and murder and was just utterly charmed by it. Maybe not the word you often think of in conjunction with murder mysteries, but as I've mentioned before, I studied history before becoming a librarian, and so that means I still read a lot of nonfiction, a lot of papers, a lot of historical stuff, and so every once in a while I just need a break from actual humanity, and so I often find myself looking for charming books, even though there's so much great literature out there that is a little bit more harsh and realistic. So if it ever seems like the books that I am showcasing here are really kind of more in that direction, that's one of the reasons why I have been trying to make a concerted effort to read a more varied type, if you will, since starting this, so everybody can maybe see a favorite of theirs on here. Okay, last we're gonna put in all of our dry fruits, nuts, coconuts, granola, oats, all that stuff. It's gonna be a huge mixing project, so I will show you what the batter looks like when I finish with that. I was right, this mixture barely fits in this bowl, so it's a good thing I didn't film that part. It was not very pretty. All right, I'm going to attempt to fit this cookie mixture into this pan. I've got to say I'm a little skeptical about it actually fitting in, but we'll tackle one problem at a time. It's kind of spreading like a sponge cake. So again, I have no idea what this cookie is supposed to be like, other than the description that was provided in the book. And I should mention that I took this recipe from the recipes in the back of the book, so we'll see how that goes. All right. I've fit as much batter in this pan as I am comfortable doing. So now we're going to put it in the oven. And I guess I'm going to find more pans for the rest. And then we'll chat when it's time to take it out. I took our sheet out of the oven. It appears to be cooked through. The recipe was a bit vague on what we are looking for. Now we're going to cut it, and you can either place the chunks back on a baking sheet and put them in the oven for a very, very low oven for a couple of hours, or let them air dry for 12 to 24 hours. I am going to try the air drying method since we live in the desert and it hasn't rained for like 3 months. And I guess we will check on them in the morning and see what kind of creation we've actually made. So see ya when these dry. So we let these sit out overnight to dry. Ours have a little bit further to go, so I might pop them in the oven, but pretty much they're solid and like you would expect from a double baked cookie. Also, still not sure if this is what we're actually supposed to be making from the recipe we had, but this is what we wound up with. It's suggested that you dip them in coffee and eat them that way. I hope you give Recipes for Love and Murder a try. It's absolutely delightful. I know I didn't talk too much about it because I was making a mess in the kitchen, but I definitely recommend it, and the descriptions of all of the food in it are just breathtaking and mouth-watering. I know there's a lot of different books with recipes that are in them, fictional books. Is there a series I should try? Is there an author that you just really enjoy their recipes? Let me know, and we'll see you next time.